Welcome to the Exposed Strength Podcast with Bidne. In this episode, I'm going to go over things that I've learned from powerlifting. So, yesterday I actually had the two Katies in here. I've got two girls that are both, one's in med school and one goes to Auburn. And I actually had them both in the gym yesterday, and I've been doing the programming, and like I said in some other episodes, one Katie was squatting with a bar, low bar her whole time. And the other Katie that was squatting high bar, I moved her to low bar. Once I moved her to low bar, her squat progress was not improving as much as it had been in the past. And the other Katie that was squatting low bar, I moved her to high bar, and her squat has been progressing much better than it has before. And so we actually have a powerlifting meet coming up next weekend, and I had them both in here, so I was trying to sit them down and trying to go over just discussing what I've learned and trying to pass it on to them, because what happens is both of those girls, they'll go and lift in a commercial gym or something like that, because I do their programming for them, although they're not here, but they come back sometimes on the weekends and we'll go over things and just to make sure that the stuff that I'm doing for them is working. I do their programming because they have been here before and I've watched them. So now I feel comfortable and I have a relationship with them to where, okay, I can tell them what I think and kind of understand me and my thought process and how it goes. So it was good to have them both sit down in the gym, and we just kind of sat there for about an hour or so and just went over it. We was looking at their temps and was looking at talking about their training. And I was having them kind of do different things just to try to figure out, because they were doing different things before, so I just kind of flipped the switch. How I would do one, I did to the other, just because of how the bar placements and everything else on the back. And they'll go to the gym, and people will come up to them. They'll want them to lift with a belt. Why are you not lifting with a belt? Well, that's how you compete. Why don't you lift with a belt? Lifting with a belt in training is not good for making you stronger. We only need to compete. The gym numbers do not matter. It matters how much you lift on the platform, especially if you're going to competition. So what's the point in getting the most out of your company? You know, there is a training max and there is a competition max. So you don't want to, by wearing a belt in the gym, your trunk muscles are not stabilizing the body as much, because the belt is taking some of the pressure off the trunk to stabilize the body in the squat. And so if you train without the belt, and you put a belt on, it's almost like doing a double belt, because you're double protected. You got your trunk muscles, your lower back, and your abs, which people say they're core. I hate it when people talk about core training. I hate the word core because people think it's crunches and sit-ups. The core is your lower back, your abs, basically the trunk of your body. And so when people say core, they're looking at these stupid little exercises on Instagram or whatever infomercial on TV is trying to sell, they make whatever you stronger. It's horseshit. So the best things to do to make your abs stronger: squat and deadlift. Your obliques are the first muscles to fire to stabilize the body before the bar even comes off the ground. Training your deadlift strengthens your spinal erectors. Training your squat, well, if you do a heavy front squat, if you do a heavy back squat, your stomach is unreal. As far as you can feel it activating if you don't have a belt. So not to get off on that tangent, they say, why not wear knee sleeves? Knee sleeves will help you in a competition. If you wear them all the time when you squat in the gym, you're breaking apart some of the elastic capability of the knee sleeve. So if you're trying to get some rebound out of the knee sleeves in the competition, and if you've broken down some of the elastic capability of that knee sleeve, going into competition, that knee sleeve is not going to add to your total like it should. Plus, wearing knee sleeves stabilizes the knee. Wearing ankle braces all the time is bad for you. When you're doing some type of extra protective layer, like wear a belt, wear wrist straps, wear knee sleeves, you're diminishing the capability of the joint to stabilize for the knee sleeves, and you're diminishing the ability of the trunk to add power or to act as a transfer case for more power by adding the belt on or by adding the knee sleeves. And it's so frustrating. People will think, well, that's the way you compete, that's why you need to train. No, want to train harder. So then when you go to the competition, it's easier. Just kind of like when you're going to practice, make practice harder so the competition's easier. And it gets on my nerves because what does everybody do? They watch YouTube. Well, what do people on YouTube want to do? They want to be more YouTube famous. What about this Instagram stuff? They're looking at all these people do Instagram. Yeah, they're lifting heavy, big weights on Instagram. What are they doing on the platform? You know, you don't go off and copy someone else. You know, the Katie and Katie's, I call them both Catherine, which is pretty damn confusing because no one knows who the hell I'm talking to when they're both in the gym, is that they have learned. You know, you had one Katie that's been with me her entire life as far as lifting. You got the other Katie that was on her own for a while, trying to figure this crap out. Once we removed the gear, she started getting a lot stronger, a lot quicker. And just like I've talked about in the other previous episodes, I had a kid that was coming here looked like a knight. He'd have knee sleeves, he'd have a belt, wrist straps. I don't allow them to have headphones on their stuff. If I see people lifting heavy weights on Instagram and they got freaking headphones on, it just pisses me off because they're in their own world. Why not bring the people in the gym or within your atmosphere? Because sometimes these lifters are lifting within a gym sort of like this to where you got other people surrounding you. Don't be like that. Bring the people in and not shell them out with the freaking headphones on your head. I think that looks retarded. Probably shouldn't say that word. But using a belt, and so once I had this kid, I stripped him of his belt, I stripped him of his knee sleeves, stripped him of his wrist straps, and moved the bar from a low bar to a high bar. He went from a 285 to a 350 squat. Never increased like that. I got this other guy coming in here right now, and I talked to him today, and we actually put him on the safety squat bar because he always wanted to squat low bar. It feels good. I hate it when people tell me about their feelings. Well, Jared, it feels good. It don't matter if it feels good if you stay weak. I'd rather feel horrible in the gym and get stronger. And I tried to talk to him today about, Jared, should I add more volume? No, he's been trying to push his freaking deadlift up. And people heard me talk about trying to push the deadlift up and trying to push the squat up at the same time sometimes is a bad recipe. So, and he said, Jared, I'm just going to try to wreck my back. Well, that's a freaking genius idea. You need to recover. It ain't about what you come in here and do. You may feel like you can do a lot of crap today. How's it going to affect the next workout? You know, like we try to bench and squat 3 days a week. So if you're trying to come in here, add extra volume to your squat, then you still try to beat up your deadlift, day 2 is going to suck. Day 3, you're beat down even more. Then you usually have 2 days off before the week starts over again. And it's the constant battle to try to recover. So it's not about how much you do, it's about how much you can recover from. So then I talked about minimum effective dosage. So once you got someone like him trying hard, you don't need to do a whole lot of crap. Work on your deadlift. You know, like at Westside, they don't go beat their deadlift up. They'll squat, they'll speed squat, then they'll work on their deadlifts and they work on the speed of the deadlift. And not trying to come in here and lift heavy all the time. You know, you heard me talk about this other kid a year ago, whatever, walked up to 405 for 2. Then he said, Jared, I'm gonna push my squat, my deadlift. I said, not a good idea. So he tried to push his squat and he tried to push his deadlift at the same time. Well, and he went from doing 405 for 2 to doing 385 for 1, went backwards. Negative effect, because sometimes it's good because that kid now he's experienced it, now he's learned. Just like these other people I try to talk to and teach. Sometimes the best teachers, let them do it. Let them go fail. But hey, look, I told you, you couldn't. And I'm trying to point it out that I've already seen it and experienced it 1,000 of times. So I'm trying to take my knowledge and pass it on to them. And so one girl, she would come in here, the other Katie that was not growing up through the gym, she'd wear a belt, so we'd strip her of the belt, and it makes them nervous because they're not used to training without a belt. They're not used to having that training aid. Well, what if you go on vacation, you don't carry all that powerlifting stuff with you, just go work out, go train. You don't need to be suited up all the time. If I need a belt to be the strongest person in the gym, I'm not the strongest person in the gym. So, and that one person that went from 285 to 350, he quit listening to me, started putting a belt on. It felt good, it felt better. You may be stronger with a belt on that day, but your rate of progress will be less. So would you rather progress 10 pounds a month or progress 5 pounds a month? That's what you really need to be asking yourself. Or whatever the progress rate should be. Like I had a kid, he had been training, all of a sudden we got a 35-pound jump. We're gonna try to get another 35-pound jump, 70 pounds in 2 months. The best improvement I had in a squat, I had a kid front squat, 255 to 365, 110 pounds in 8 weeks in a front squat. So 255 to 365. His 40 went from a 5'1" to a 4'8" in that 2-month period. And that's when it really started clicking to me. And guess what? Didn't let them use a belt. And guess what? His 40 got better. He got stronger. That's when I started doing a lot more research into, damn, all right, so what is a characteristic of an elite sprinter? And limb length, body fat percentage, I wanted to know what the leg strength was. 2.5 times their body weight. So average Olympic sprinter weighing in 176 pounds, squatting 440 to 450. 2.5 times their body weight. The squat's critical for the start and explosiveness out the gate. As if you're doing track sprinting and things like that, deadlifting helps with hip extension. So if a kid needs to have a faster start, they don't necessarily have to work on their start. They need to get stronger and practice their start, not work on their start, work on it, and miss the squatting. The squatting is going to give you the horsepower to accelerate and overcome your own inertia faster. And so when you're sprinting, your lower back stabilizes the hips. And guess what? Your obliques are tied into the hips. And so if you have a weak trunk, you're going to have some wiggle room in your hips, decreasing the force production into the ground. That's why most of my athletes, well, all of my athletes don't even use a belt. And growing up, I had the kids that when we first started, the thing is I started having these lifters, these people that won now for years, I never really had. I took kids to competition, but I was training them for sport. I just took the strong kids. Hey, look, they'll be good at this. Let's look up some state records and let's go beat them. We never trained with belt. We never trained with gear. We never did anything. I bought them knee sleeves and I bought them belt and we went to competition. We were beating our gym members. Had a kid squat 475 in the gym and weighing 160 pounds, 161 pounds. Go to competition. If they can get that in the gym, we can usually open or start with that weight. So by the time you put the knee sleeves on and that belt on them, they'll do a lot more. So guess what? In competition, he squatted 501. You've heard me talk about the little 9-year-old girl when she's 10 now, but Jared, should she put a belt on and get used to it? No, never. The first time that this little girl ever put a belt on was in her first powerlifting competition. The most weight she squatted in the gym was 105. We go to competition, 121. Put a belt, knee sleeves on, but guess what? When we get back to the gym, leave that crap at home. We ain't training like that. She does gymnastics. She don't get to use that stabilization stuff in gymnastics. She's an athlete. These football players don't put a belt on when you go freaking play football. You don't put a belt on when you go freaking play baseball, soccer, any sport. You don't put a belt on when you go play golf. The trunk's got to be powerful. So I learned a lot of this stuff from training kids for athletic sport performance, and we didn't use the gear. The only time we used the gear is to get an extra advantage in the competitions, because that's when it mattered. When we lifted the most was the competitions, not the gym. Why are you going to be a gym show off? You go to the competition and you suck. That's horrible. Hey, look, some days you got good days and some days you got bad days, but if you train with that gear on all the time, you go to competition. So like if that kid squatted 475 in here with gear, you go to competition and that's your max. You're not going to open with that, because if you miss it, you could bomb out. Because when you do put the gear on, you are stronger. It does make you lift more. You're not necessarily stronger, you lift more. So I guess that could be confusing for some people, but you take it off so that the stabilizing muscles get stronger, so that when you do put it on, it's like a reward. It's like a bonus. It's like 10 times reward points. You're going to get more weight. You're going to get more points. You're going to win. And so we started talking. The first thing we did learn is that the powerlifters, once I stripped them of their belt, they started getting stronger. They started going to competition and having greater improvements in their competitive weights than they did training with the different apparatuses. So when you're out there in a commercial gym, when you got people that have no freaking clue what's going on, they're telling you to do what they're doing. Well, what they're doing is going home watching YouTube and Instagram and looking at all these people lifting big weights, and they say that they're using the belt. You don't have, if you would just trust me, you don't train these athletes with a belt. If you want to have freak style athletes, let the support muscles get stronger, let the ligaments and tendons get stronger, go to competition. Now you've got this extra layer of protection. You've got your stabilization muscles, you've got your trunk muscles that have already gotten stronger. Now you protect them with a belt. Now you use that belt to help you get more weight. And so I've got this kid who's going to be lifting in the competition for the first time. Pulled 275 in the gym. That's the most. He can pull 285. So I'm going to see if I told him we're going to pull 303. These odd numbers in the powerlifting competition, we lift with USAPL. I like my athletes to get drug tested. I think getting drug tested is kind of like a reward. If you get drug tested, they think you're strong. That's a hell of a compliment. Out of all those people, if you get drug tested, that's good. So look forward to that. Got these other kids that's never put a belt on. We're going to go to competition and we're going to see what happens. Alex Yelverton, he squatted 661 at 17 years old. The only time we put a belt on him was a competition. I was talking to a guy next door yesterday at the 24 gym. And he used to train with me for, I don't know how long they were actually over here, but ever since he started listening and started understanding, he quit training with a belt. So it's the powerlifting, when you take these athletes that have been using the belt and you remove the belt, they may struggle at first. You know, sometimes these kids go into high school, they want to wear a belt all the time when they're in weight training class. You come here and you take the belt off, their backs get beat up because their backs are not used to working that stress. I max them without a belt. Whatever their max without a belt is how we train. We don't max. So if you go to a competition, little Alex, when she squatted 121 at 65-pound body weight, we did not come in here and work off of 121. We worked off her gym numbers, which is 105. Now she's done 105 for 5. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does. So her last max in the gym was 105. She squatted 121. Now that she has squatted 121 and her last max was 105, now she's done 105 in the gym, no belt, 5 reps, so it's going to be interesting. The most she pulled in the gym was 121 deadlift. We go to competition, add a belt, 137. A few weeks after competition, comes to the gym. I had 137 pounds on the bar. She picked it up. No belt, no warm-up. She just went over there. How much is this? Picks it up, sets it down. It's amazing what happens when you remove that stuff and you don't play with it in your sport, especially if you're training athletes. You know, a lot of people get this place confused with we lift weights. Yeah, we do. You know what? I can increase your strength faster than most people can even blink. And so that's what they're not getting, is like when they go to the school, high school. You know, you heard me talk about the high school stuff before. These kids came in and said, Jared, we had 11 minutes to get 5 sets of 8. I said, holy shit, how the hell are you going to do that? Number one, your rest periods are not long enough. You know, when you go to a powerlifting competition, you may rest 5 to 8 minutes between attempts. So it's kind of like, if you're not used to resting like that, and once I started learning that resting longer between sets and reps, you actually make more of your sets and reps. And like I asked the kids, I said, you don't have the luxury of doing this at school. No, Jared, sometimes we'll have to go from bench, or sometimes we'll go squat, and sometimes we, like the other day when we had to go 5 sets of 8 on our squat, we had to do hang cleans in between. That's freaking ludicrous. That's nuts. How are you going to get strong when you freaking can't even recover between your sets? But when you enroll your kids in high school weight training, you have no clue. And I'm not talking to all the strength coaches. I've probably got some strength coaches, high school strength coaches that listen to me on this podcast. I hope you're not doing that. And there's probably some good ones out there. But the ones I've seen around here in my local area are not good. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know where that workout mentality comes up. Let's get it done. Hey, we play football at a high, fast pace. Yeah. So Why don't you train for greater strength gains and do something else for a higher fast pace? You know what? And your fast pace ain't as fast paced as you think. I played football, and I've trained plenty of other football athletes as well. Uh, Elementary kids, middle school kids, high school kids, collegiate kids, and professional football players. You have to learn how to go all out in your conditioning. And you've got to learn how to wave the all out conditioning within the training. And so once I had the kids learn how to go all out, it's like this. You see a kid, so if you got to do, you go out the track, or whatever your conditioning is for that day. Say if you had to do 4 100s, four 400 meters, which is a whole lap around a track. What about that kid that goes out there and takes off at 100%, just boom, knocks it out? You know what everybody else is doing? Laughing at the kid because, he's going to die. He's not going to make it to the fourth one. What if the kid don't die? What if his energy system has adapted and he's able to produce that high force, high power output over and over and over again without getting tired? You know,